Meg Altman clutched the keys to their new home, her fingers trembling slightly with a mix of excitement and trepidation. This was more than just a house. It was a symbol of a new beginning, a fresh chapter in their lives. The brownstone was a sprawling, elegant structure nestled in the heart of New York City, a place where history and modernity intertwined seamlessly. Its stately facade stood as a testament to the countless stories it had witnessed over the years. For Meg and her daughter Sarah, this move represented a chance to rebuild, to find solace and stability after the tumultuous events that had shaken their world. The echoes of their past life still lingered, but here, they hoped to create new, happier memories. The bitter taste of divorce lingered, a constant reminder of the life they had left behind. Yet, Meg was resolute, her determination unwavering. She was committed to forging a new path, to creating a sanctuary where they could heal and thrive. This house, with its promise of safety and security, was the cornerstone of that new life. It was a place where Sarah could feel protected, where they could both find peace and rebuild their bond. One of the house's most intriguing features was its panic room, a high-security space designed to offer refuge in times of danger. It was a unique selling point, one that had given Meg a sense of reassurance when she first toured the property. The panic room was hidden behind a cold steel door, its presence both ominous and comforting. It was a fortress within a fortress, a place where they could retreat and feel utterly secure. This room, with its reinforced walls and state-of-the-art security features, was a silent guardian, a sentinel standing watch over their new home. It was a symbol of the safety Meg was determined to provide for Sarah. Little did they know, their first night in this new haven would be a trial by fire, a test of their resilience and the strength of their bond. The shadows of the past were not so easily left behind. The moving truck arrived, disgorging their belongings onto the sidewalk. Each piece of furniture, each box, carried with it the weight of memories, both joyous and painful. It was a physical manifestation of their journey, a bridge between their old life and the new. As they unpacked, the house slowly began to transform from an empty shell into a home. The familiar items, the cherished mementos, all found their place within the new walls, weaving a tapestry of their shared history. Sarah, her teenage angst momentarily forgotten, explored their new haven with cautious curiosity. Each room held the promise of new adventures, new memories waiting to be made. The house was a blank canvas, and she was eager to paint her own story upon it. The panic room, with its imposing steel door, drew her in. It was a place of mystery and intrigue, a stark contrast to the chaos of unpacking. To Sarah, it felt like a secret hideaway, a place where she could escape and feel safe. The cold, unyielding steel of the door was strangely comforting. It was a tangible reminder of the security her mother had promised, a physical barrier against the uncertainties of the world outside. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the city, the house began to take on a different character. The bustling energy of the day gave way to a serene stillness, a quiet that enveloped them like a warm blanket. Meg and Sarah shared a pizza, their laughter echoing in the cavernous space. It was a simple meal, but it felt like a feast, a celebration of their new beginning. The sound of their laughter filled the house, infusing it with warmth and joy. As the evening wore on, a sense of normalcy settled over them. The day's exhaustion began to pull them towards sleep, but it was a good kind of tired, the kind that comes from hard work and the promise of a better tomorrow. Unbeknownst to them, shadows were gathering outside their new home. The night held secrets, and danger lurked just beyond their doorstep, waiting for the right moment to strike. The calm facade of the house belied the tension building in the darkness. Suspicious activity stirred in the shadows, a silent threat that would soon shatter their newfound peace. It was the calm before the storm, a brief moment of tranquility before the chaos that was about to unfold. In that quiet night, Meg and Sarah were blissfully unaware of the trials that awaited them, of the strength and courage they would soon need to summon. The panic room was a sanctuary of steel and concrete. It was a place meticulously designed to offer refuge in the direst of circumstances. The walls, thick and unyielding, were a testament to human ingenuity and the primal need for safety. Hidden behind an unassuming bookshelf, the entrance was cleverly concealed. To the casual observer, it was just another piece of furniture, blending seamlessly with the room's decor. It was a secret known only to the house's inhabitants. A hidden gem, a sanctuary that could mean the difference between life and death. Meg ran her hand over the cold steel of the door, a sense of grim satisfaction settling in her stomach. The door was solid, impenetrable, a barrier against the chaos outside. Inside, a bank of monitors flickered to life, feeding images from cameras positioned throughout the house. Each screen displayed a different angle, a different perspective, ensuring that no corner was left unseen. A separate phone line, hardwired directly to the city's emergency services, stood ready. It was a lifeline, a direct connection to help, should they need it. Supplies lined the shelves: bottled water, non-perishable food, a first aid kit. Everything they might need to survive for days, even weeks, was carefully stored and organized. It was a place designed for survival, for weathering the storm. Every item had a purpose. Every inch of space was utilized to its fullest potential. Meg had scoffed at its necessity when she first saw it. She had thought it was an overreaction, a product of paranoia. Now she felt a surge of gratitude for the previous owner's paranoia. That foresight, that meticulous planning, was now their lifeline. The air inside felt heavy, thick with the silence of anticipation. Every breath seemed louder, every heartbeat echoed in the confined space. Meg knew the room was designed to withstand almost anything. It was a fortress, a stronghold against the unknown. It was a fortress within their home, a last line of defense. A place where they could feel safe, even if just for a moment. But as she looked at Sarah, her face pale in the dim light, a chilling thought took root. What if this fortress wasn't enough? What if they weren't quick enough? The thought gnawed at her, a constant reminder of the precariousness of their situation. The room was designed to protect them, but it was also a reminder of the dangers lurking outside. The monitors showed a world outside that was both familiar and alien. Shadows moved in the periphery, and every creak of the house seemed amplified. Meg checked the supplies again, her hands moving methodically. Each item was a small comfort, a piece of normalcy in an abnormal situation. She glanced at the emergency phone, contemplating whether to call for help. But what would she say? That they were scared? That they felt trapped? She turned to Sarah, offering a reassuring smile. "We'll be okay," she said, her voice steady despite the fear gnawing at her insides. They held hands, a silent promise to each other. They would face whatever came together, fortified by their bond and the steel walls around them. Outside, the night was dark and ominous. The house stood silent, a lone sentinel in the night. Meg's resolve hardened. This room, this fortress, was their best chance. They would survive. They had to. She adjusted the monitors, ensuring every angle was covered. They couldn't afford to miss anything. The supplies were their lifeline, each item a testament to the human will to survive. They were prepared for the worst, hoping for the best. Meg looked at the steel door again, its cold surface a stark reminder of their reality. It was strong, but was it strong enough? Her face reflected a mix of determination and fear. They were safe for now, but the uncertainty of what lay ahead loomed large. She squeezed Sarah's hand, drawing strength from their shared resolve. Together they would face whatever came next. As dawn began to break, the first light of day pierced the darkness. It was a new day, a new chance to survive. Meg and Sarah looked at each other, their faces set with determination. They were ready to face whatever the new day would bring. The night was alive with unseen eyes. The stars above twinkled innocently, casting a faint glow over the darkened streets below. The air was thick with anticipation, as if the very shadows themselves were holding their breath, waiting for something to happen. The silence was almost deafening, broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves or the distant hum of a passing car. It was a night that seemed to promise secrets and danger, a night where anything could happen. Burnham, his face etched with years of cunning, surveyed the brownstone from across the street. His eyes, sharp and calculating, missed nothing. He had spent countless nights like this, hidden in the shadows, watching and waiting. The house stood silent and still, its occupants unaware of the predator lurking just beyond their walls. Burnham's heart beat steadily, a rhythm of determination and resolve. He had a mission, and he would see it through. He moved with the quiet grace of a predator, his two accomplices, Raoul and Jr., flanking him like wolves. They were a well-oiled machine, each man knowing his role and playing it to perfection. Raoul, with his hulking frame and brute strength, was the muscle. Jr., jittery and unpredictable, was the wild card. Together they formed a formidable team, each man bringing his own unique skills to the table. They communicated with silent gestures, a language of their own, honed through years of working together. They were after the bearer bonds, hidden somewhere within the house, a king's ransom awaiting their touch. These bonds were more than just pieces of paper. They were the key to a new life, a life of luxury and ease. Burnham could almost feel the weight of them in his hands, could almost see the future they promised. But first they had to get past the house's defenses, had to outsmart its occupants. It was a challenge, but one Burnham relished. He thrived on challenges, on the thrill of the hunt. Burnham had planned this heist for months, studying the house, its occupants, its secrets. He knew the layout of the house like the back of his hand, knew the routines of its inhabitants. He had watched them, learned their habits, their weaknesses. He had mapped out every possible scenario, had contingency plans for every eventuality. This was not a spur-of-the-moment decision, it was a meticulously crafted plan, a masterpiece of strategy and cunning. He knew about the panic room, saw it as a minor inconvenience, a puzzle to solve. The panic room was supposed to be a safe haven, a place where the occupants could hide in case of danger. But to Burnham, it was just another obstacle to overcome. He had studied its design, had figured out how to bypass its security measures. It was all part of the game, a game he intended to win. He relished the challenge, the opportunity to prove his superiority. His gaze, cold and calculating, settled on the dimly lit window where Meg and Sarah slept, oblivious to the danger lurking just beyond their walls. They were innocent, unaware of the storm about to break over their heads. Burnham felt a twinge of something, perhaps guilt, but he quickly pushed it aside. This was business, nothing personal. They were just obstacles in his path, obstacles he would remove if necessary. He had come too far to let anything stand in his way. Junior, jittery and unpredictable, shifted from foot to foot. His nerves were always on edge, a bundle of raw energy barely contained. He was the weak link in the chain, the one most likely to make a mistake. But he was also invaluable, his unpredictability a weapon in its own right. Burnham kept a close eye on him, ready to step in if needed. He couldn't afford any slip-ups, not now, not when they were so close. The darkness seemed to amplify his nervousness, his hand trembling as it hovered near the pistol tucked into his waistband. The weight of the gun was both a comfort and a burden, a reminder of the violence that might be necessary. Junior's mind raced with possibilities, each one more terrifying than the last, but he trusted Burnham, trusted his plan. They had come this far together, and he wasn't about to back out now. He took a deep breath, trying to steady his nerves. Raoul, a hulking figure of brute strength, exuded an aura of quiet menace. He was the enforcer, the one who dealt with any problems that arose. His presence alone was enough to intimidate most people, his size and strength a clear warning. But Raoul was more than just muscle. He was smart, cunning in his own way. He knew how to use his strength to his advantage, how to manipulate situations to get what he wanted. He was a valuable asset, one Burnham relied on heavily. He cracked his knuckles, the sound a sharp punctuation in the stillness of the night. It was a ritual, a way to release the tension building inside him. The night was full of possibilities, each one more dangerous than the last. But Raoul was ready, his mind and body prepared for whatever lay ahead. He had been through worse, had faced greater challenges. This was just another job, another test of his skills. And he was determined to pass with flying colors. They were ready to collect their prize. The night was theirs, the shadows their allies. They moved as one, a silent force of determination and resolve. The house stood before them, a fortress to be breached, a treasure to be claimed. Burnham led the way, his mind focused on the task at hand. Raoul and Junior followed, their eyes sharp, their senses alert. They were a team, a unit, bound together by a common goal, and nothing would stand in their way. A muffled crash jolted Meg awake. Disoriented, heart pounding, she strained to hear over the insistent thumping in her ears. Another crash, closer this time, sent a chill down her spine. Intruders. Panic welled up, threatening to consume her. She had to get to Sarah, to the panic room. "Sarah! Panic room now!" Meg's voice was a sharp whisper, cutting through the darkness. Sarah's eyes, wide with terror, met hers. In that shared look of fear, the bond between mother and daughter solidified into something unbreakable, a shared will to survive. They moved like phantoms through the darkened house, the sounds of their pursuers echoing behind them. A floorboard creaked, betraying their position. The heavy thud of footsteps on the stairs sent adrenaline surging through Meg's veins. They were running out of time. The entrance to the panic room loomed ahead, the bookshelf concealing it swinging open with a groan. Safety was within reach.